What's going on, Yu-Gi-Oh fans? Trav here with Chaotic Strategies, and tonight I'm coming at you with another deck profile. If you guys are new to the channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, that little notification bell, so that way you guys are always notified when I post new content. In today's deck profile video, I am going over my Counter Fairy deck. This deck is a lot of fun. Going to tell you guys right now, there's a lot of cards that I still want to get and am going to get for this deck. Counter Fairy's actually got a link card not too terribly long ago, Celestial Nightlord Parshath. I still don't have any copies of that card, but I plan on getting it. So this is just a deck that I've ran for quite some time. Like I said, still going to get some cards that I want to beef this deck up a little bit. But for right now, this is a very fun casual play deck. Everybody that I play with absolutely hate this deck. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into my Counter Fairy deck profile. So to start things off, I run 3 Bountiful Artemis. This is a great card, especially in this counter trap deck, because anytime a counter trap card is activated, you get to draw a card. Not necessarily on your turn, this card activates on both turns. So that's going to help you get into your deck and pull cards that you need. There's also a small pendulum engine in here. I run 3 Guiding Aerodade. So this card's great. It's got a scale starting at 3. Its pendulum effect is whenever you do not have to pay life points or card costs to activate counter traps. So its monster effect is if it is destroyed by battle or card effects, you can pull 3 counter traps from your deck and your opponent chooses one for you to add to your hand. So fantastic effects. I mean, its pendulum effect is the one that you're really looking forward to the most, where you don't have to pay any card cost or life point cost to activate counter traps. Okay, and then next I run 2 Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayers. Pretty much you're just going to want to use this for its pendulum effect. It has a scale of 5, so that way you can special summon all of your level 4 fairies out onto the field. This one is if you have another monster in your monster zone, you can destroy that card and then pull another one from your deck to your hand. So that makes this combo very good. You can destroy Guiding Aerodane, pull another one from your deck, and then Guiding Aerodade's effect activates, where you can pull 3 counter trap cards. Your opponent chooses one, add one to your hand. Then I run 2 Power Angel Valkyrias. This card is awesome. So anytime you negate a spell, trap card, or a monster effect, you can pull 1 light monster from your deck and put it into your hand. I run 1 Sacred Arc Aeronite Parshath. This card is phenomenal. Comes out at 2800 attack, 2300 defense. So if you negate the effect of a spell, trap, or a monster effect, you can either ban it. You can then banish 2 cards out of your graveyard and special summon this from either your hand or your graveyard to get it out onto the field. There's also another way that I will get to here in a minute, where we can pull this card as well without utilizing its effect. This card does piercing battle damage if it attacks a defense position monster, and also if you inflict damage to your opponent, you can bring another Parshath card or a counter trap card from your deck to your hand. So just an all-around fantastic card. And then I'm also running 2 Minerva Scholar of the Sky. So again, his effect is very nasty. Whenever you activate a counter trap card immediately after it resolves, he gains 500 attack. And then also, if Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, you can pull a counter trap with a different name from the one that you used from your graveyard and put it back into your hand. So he allows very, very good counter trap recycling out of the graveyard, so you don't have to worry about really running out. So for the last of my monsters, I run 1 Honest, fantastic card. So whenever your monsters attacks, you can ditch this card from your hand to the graveyard, and your monster gains the attack of your opponent's monster until the end of that turn. So it's going to help you keep your monsters out onto the field and deal heavy damage too if they're coming at you with one of their beat sticks out of their deck. Alright, moving into the spells of this deck, I run 2 The Sanctum of Parshath. So this card is going to give all of your fairy monsters a 300 attack boost. This card also acts as the Sanctuary in the Sky. And then once per turn, you can pull either 3 fairy monsters or counter trap cards from your graveyard and put them on top of your deck in any order. So very fantastic card. That's kind of one of your key cards. I might bump that one up to 3. I haven't decided yet. Okay, and then I run 2 Ties of the Brethren. I'm still kind of up in the air on this one. So you can pay 2,000 life points to activate this card. Then you're going to target one level 4 or lower card monster that you have on the field, and then you can special summon 2 other monsters of the same level with different names onto the field, but after that you cannot special summon anything for the rest of that turn. So it helps flood your field out, but it makes it so you have to wait another turn in order to get your Xyz or Link monsters out. So it's still kind of up in the air. It's still a very good card. It gets you 3 monsters out onto the field. It doesn't negate their effects or anything like that, so that helps out there, especially when you're running heavy counter traps. Running 1 Card of Demise. This is one of the cards that I do want to get more of to throw into this deck. Running either 2, maybe even 3, but right now for everything else that I have in this deck, 1 works. I just like to be able to get into it more. So this is definitely one that I would bump up. If you plan on building this deck profile, I would bump this up to 2 or 3. Running 2 Duelist Alliance. This allows you to search a pendulum monster. So there's a card in your pendulum zone. You can activate this card to search your deck for 1 pendulum monster or 1 pendulum spell and trap card, and you can only use this once per turn. So if you have guiding in your pendulum zone, you can activate this card to search for our Pendulum Draco Slayer. If Draco Slayer is in the pendulum zone, you cannot use this to search for guiding, or all you're going to be able to do is search for another Draco Slayer. So, but that is in there to help search for our pendulums. Then I run 3 Pots of Duality. Again, this is just to help get you set up and search out a lot of your counter traps. Again, the downside with Duality is that you cannot special summon the turn that you activate this card, but that's okay as long as you can get your back row set up for counter traps. You can hold off another turn. Okay, that's it for the spells. Moving into the counter traps of the deck, I run 3 Dark Bribes. Okay, Dark Bribe is probably one of my all-time favorite counter trap cards. You're going to negate the activation of a spell or trap card that your opponent activates, and then in turn they get to draw a card. So yes, you're going to allow them to get a +1 out of it, but if you time it right and you kind of know what you're playing against, this card hurts your opponent bad. This is also not a once per turn. You can activate all 3 of these in 1 turn if you wanted to. Also run 2 Solemn Strikes. Might bump this one up to 3. 2 seems to be working out pretty good, especially now that we've got pretty much our Solemns at full power. We can now run 3 Strikes, 3 Warnings, and 3 Judgments. I might play with my ratio with my Solemn cards that I have in this deck, but 2 seems to work pretty good as of right now. 1 Solemn Judgment and 1 Solemn Warning. Again, now that all of these are kind of back up to 3 in the TCG, I might play around a little bit. I may just end up getting rid of Warning altogether and just run maybe 2 or 3 Judgments. Haven't quite decided, but these cards work great. Yes, they do require heavy life point costs, especially with Strike as well. But by having Guiding Aridane down in our Pendulum Zone, we don't have to worry about paying the life point costs to activate these cards, which make these cards, our Solemn cards, that more deadly in this deck. We're in 3 Drastic Drop Off. This is, again, another one of my all-time favorite counter trap cards. So whenever your opponent draws a card, you activate this, and then they discard that card into the graveyard immediately. So this card works great when you pass turn. You know, they're in their draw phase. They draw a card for turn, you activate this, they immediately have to discard that card to the graveyard. So you can disrupt a lot of big plays using this card. And then with Minerva's recycling effect, you're able to recycle all of these trap cards back into the hand. It's amazing. Okay, I run 2 Ultimate Providence. Ultimate Providence. Normally, whenever your opponent activates a spell trap or monster effect, you're going to discard the same type of card, spell trap or monster, and then you're going to negate that effect. But again, with Guiding Aerodane, we don't have to pay that card cost. We can just activate this card, negate, and destroy. Running 2 Rebirth of Parshath. This is kind of the staple card, or the staple counter trap card in this deck. So in order to activate this card, whenever your opponent activates a spell trap or monster effect, you reveal 1 counter trap in your hand. Normally you're going to pay a life point cost. You're going to negate that effect, and then you can special summon 1 Parshath card from your deck to your hand. Well, as long as it says Parshath, we can also pull a couple Parshaths from the extra deck too, which I will get into. And as I mentioned earlier, this will also special summon that Link monster as well. So we can use this card to target our Air Knight Parshath as well. So just a very fantastic card. I may even bump this up to 3. I ran 3 for a while, but when I made some changes on the deck, it got dropped down to 2, but it may come back up to 3, especially once I get those Link cards for this deck as well. And for the rest of the traps, I run 2 Divine Punishments. Now the problem with Divine Punishment is you have to have Sanctuary on the Sky on the field in order to activate this card. So as long as you have a Sanctum of Parshath, you're good, since Sanctum of Parshath acts as the Sanctuary in the Sky. And then this is going to negate any spell trap or activated monster effect on the field. Okay, and that's it for the main deck. Like I said, there's still some changes that I want to make once I get the cards available to me, but this deck runs very well as is right now as a casual play deck. So moving right on into our extra deck. Okay, to start off with my Synchro monster, I run the Avenging Knight Parshath. I do want to bump this card up to 2, just do not have a second copy as of right now. So, but he's definitely going to get bumped up. So this card's great. He comes out at 26 attack and 2100 defense. So once per turn, you can change one of your opponent's monsters to defense position. And then if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to that monster. So again, I don't run any tuners in this deck. He gets brought out by Rebirth of Parshath, our counter trap card. So we can special summon him out onto the field, and especially now in MR5, where we don't have to worry about having a link zone opened up. This makes it a lot easier for this card to come out anywhere on the field, and then you can run plays on top of that. Okay, and I run a pretty large selection of Xyz monsters in this deck, just because everything in this deck is level 4 except for maybe 1 or 2 cards, so it makes it really easy to really pump out our level 4 Xyzes. So to start with, I run 1 Abyss Dweller, which is great. You can detach 1 card off of this card, and for the rest of that turn your opponent cannot activate monster effects in the graveyard. 1 Tornado Dragon. It's got a quick effect. You can discard 1 card off of it and destroy 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls. So also run number 41, Baguska, the Terribly Tired Tapir. Fantastic card. At the start of your turn, you have to discard 1 card off of him in order to keep him onto the field. Once you cannot do that, he's destroyed, so it's going to buy you a couple turns. In attack position, he cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, nor can he be targeted by your opponent's card effects. And then if he's in face-up defense position, all of the other monsters on the field get turned defense, and their activated effects on the field are negated as well. So just fantastic card. I run 1 Evil Swarm Ouroboros. He takes 3 level 4s, but his effects are really good. So once per turn, you can detach a material off of this card and activate 1 of his 3 effects. The only thing I don't like about this card is that only 1 of those 3 effects can only be used once while he's on the field. So you can discard a card, and then you can target 1 card your opponent controls and return that card to the hand. You can also send 1 random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, or you can banish 1 of your opponent's cards out of the graveyard. So Still not too bad. It really helps, you know, if they're running heavy in the graveyard, you can use that as kind of like a called by the grave to get one of their key cards out of the graveyard and into banishment. Okay, and then I run one number 82 Heartland Draco. This little guy is pretty awesome. As long as you have a face-up spell card on the field, he cannot be targeted for attacks. And then once per turn, you can discard one card off of him and attack directly, and he's at 2,000 attack. So not too bad, and by having the Sanctum of Parshath on the field, since that is a continuous spell card, he can't be targeted for attack, so he's pretty much just going to hang out there on the field unless they get rid of Sanctum. I run one Castile, the Sky Musketeer, so you can detach to change one card to defense position or destroy one card on the field by discarding two. And then I run a Utopia Xyz engine. I run two number 39 Utopias, one S39 Utopia Prime, and two number S39 Utopia the Lightning. So if you don't know anything about the Utopias, you can pretty much stack. So if you bring number 39 out, you can stack, or you can bring Prime out, Prime stacks onto him, and then Lightning stacks onto Prime. And then once per turn with Lightning, you can discard a card and double his attack, which makes this very awesome. I absolutely love the Utopia engine, especially since you're able to protect them with the counter traps. And then for my last Xyz card, I run Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. So once per turn, you can detach one material off of this card, target one of your opponent's monsters, its attack gets halved, and then this card gains the half attack, and he comes out at 2,500 attack and 2,000 defense. So he comes out already pretty heavy. So if you time this right, you can really get him boosted a lot. And that's it for all my Xyz cards. So as of right now, I'm only running 2 Link cards, at least until I can get my Celestial Night Lord Parshath links, and then this extra deck is going to get changed up a little bit. So to finish off this deck profile, I have one Link Kuriboh and one Hip Hoshinigin. He's pretty much going to help boost the attack power of all light monsters on the field, and then Link Kuriboh is just there to protect me from attacks. So there you have it, everybody. That is my Counter Fairy deck profile for the July 2020 format. Again, this is just a very casual play deck as of right now until I can get some more cards for it. It's not a deck I really play all that much anymore, but I do like to dig it out and have some fun with it from time to time. If you guys would like to purchase any cards out of this deck profile or this entire deck profile, I will leave a link down in the description box below to our TCG Player affiliate account. That also helps support our channel as well without any added cost to you, just the purchase of the cards. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, comment, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if there's something that you guys would change in this deck to make it run a little bit better. I'm always excited to see what you guys have to say. I love communicating with all the viewers here with their ideas on some of these deck profiles. It's just amazing what some of you guys are able to come up with that run so well in this fantastic game. So I hope you guys are being safe out there. Be sure to wash your hands, and we'll see you in the next video.